The children of Sean Diddy Combs are speaking out for the first time since their father's arrest last week.
In the struggle together, son. You know what I'm saying?
They call it like Jay-Z Theo or something. Is he like your uncle kind of low-key?
Yeah, that's my uncle right there.
You got some powerful uncles.
Son, Christian, aka King Combs, is now being sued, just like his father is. A woman filed a lawsuit against King, alleging that in late 2022, right before New Year's Eve, King assaulted her on
watching it and just knowing that it's all coming to an end, 20 years of hit, it's just crazy.
No, I said it wasn't funny. I was just like, that was traumatic.
Diddy's family drama is intensifying as his son reveals feeling more like an asset than a person in his father's eyes. Imagine living in fame and luxury yet feeling trapped. Rumors suggest even more is unfolding behind the scenes. We'll dive into how Diddy's vast empire might be taking a toll on his son. A daddy dearest story with an unexpected twist that might reshape how you see the hip-hop mogul.
For somebody take his head off. Cause see, that's that new school bull crap that these kids out here, they easy to fly off their mouth with that. You don't invite a man to your private. You don't invite a man to your private unless you doing the Diddy. If two men lay down, how many homos get up? Let me tell you, young man, 2 of them. You understand? So don't invite a man to your private, because that man will see you and take your head off. Especially somebody like 50. You don't send or let a boy do a man's job. I don't know if he need that type of attention or he want that type of attention. Evidently he do.
Have you ever wondered what it means to have everything yet feel empty? That's the reality Diddy's son seems to face. Life in a mansion, surrounded by designer fashion and a hefty bank account, might seem ideal, but behind the scenes, it's not all private jets and red carpets. Diddy's sprawling empire, from music to vodka, keeps his family in the spotlight, but whispers suggest it's more like living in a luxurious prison. It's the golden handcuffs effect, a life so glamorous it feels impossible to escape. For celebrity families, this diamond-studded struggle is all too real.
Christian Combs. Yo, it's shot o'clock. Plaintiff, Grace, no, I'm not doing shots. Christian. Defendant, Christian Combs. Everybody, we gotta take a shot. Audio 2. Plaintiff, I'll just put the ledge. That's Grace. Defendant, Christian, no, take the whole thing. Plaintiff, no, you will take it as well. Christian, take the whole shot. Plaintiff, I'm only doing it as long as you take it as well. Christian, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not taking nothing. Please take the shot. You are drugging me? Plaintiff says. Christian, take the shot. Hey, yo, play another beat one time, because now it's interesting. Why not give the whole audio? It bugs me, but still enough in here is strange. But I don't know why it's cut, but apparently then cuts, and then we hear Cassie's Me and You featuring P. Diddy and Young Jock playing in the background as then this SA happens on the plaintiff. Cassie, this is not an offer. Christian, you said what? Plaintiff, I can't. I'm swapping out. I can't do it. I'm sorry, darling. Christian, no, we need you. Plaintiff, I'm going to stop. I have to go. Honestly, I'm like already losing sleep. I have to go now. Now, it's important just to remind everybody, she's been doing the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. This is at the end of her shift. She is there to take care of her A-list clients on this yacht. That's what the job is. The bosses, everybody need to apply, make sure that these A-list clients are doing well. Her client is Sean Combs, and now Sean Combs' son. And she's being pressured into this to stay, to drink, to do all this stuff. She's trying to get out of the room. You're the best one on this ship, though, Christian says. What do you mean? She responds. Christian, who's going to replace you? Who's going to replace me? Defendant Christian, F that. That's going to be trash, though. You feel me? Plaintiff, excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. Plaintiff, if I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that, says Grace. Christian, listen, you and everybody in the crew, it's great. Plaintiff, Grace, I can't. I have to go down. I have to go down. Christian, no. Yo, tell me, listen. Grace, what? Christian, like you're just vibing with me the whole time. Like, just say it. Plaintiff, I can't. I promise you, I wish I could, but I can't, unless I say that you guys requested me. Defendant Christian, yes, who can I talk to right now? Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now. Plaintiff, well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing. Now, again, I don't know if there's more audio, why it's selective. Maybe these are just the most important parts, and then it ends, but even so...
Celebrity kids often face unique struggles. Remember when Willow Smith shaved her head? That was her reclaiming her identity. Or Lindsay Lohan's public battles as she tried to step out of her parents' shadow. Now the spotlight is on Diddy's son. Behind the walls of the Combs estate, rumors swirl about immense pressure and expectations. His father's towering presence seems to overshadow him, making it hard to find his own path. Recently, Diddy's son shared a cryptic post. Sometimes the price of greatness is your soul. If that's not a cry for help, what is? And trust me, this story has layers, and we're about to uncover them all.
50 is the wrong dude that you want to do that type of attention, get that kind of attention from, bro. And the infamous words of Waka Flocka, that nigga go hard in the paint. And I don't believe that this cat would even put out some trash like that and really didn't know what he was doing. He's teasing the federal government. And I told y'all, the Southern District of New York do not play. So King Kong just put another battery in their back. And you see after he did that shit, something get leaked to the press. Do you notice that, right? As soon as he did that dumb shit, talking about, well, we did this and we did that. We had this over here, y'all went to the wrong house. Some went to, he said, well, we're gonna show you how wrong we are. Yo, CNN, run this. Action, roll them. Don't play with the feds, bro. Because you got to realize this. They got a lot of time. All they got is time. Yo, they going to sit there, people sitting up there, and they want something. See, people like a fix. They need that fix real quick. They want them to hurry up and charge Diddy with something or see what they got on him. The feds gonna take their time. May take 6 months, may take a year, may take 2 years. They got up to 3 years to bring their case up. They got 3 years. So they checking everything about them. They're gonna dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like he played a part in that video coming up. You know, him making a comment saying that, you know, they forgot to raid the house next door that his dad owned. Yeah, man, he was wilding out, man.
Yeah, I think he was just bullshitting. I don't believe he bought the house next door. Because let me just tell you something. If anything or any name that had to do with Bad Boy, the federal government gonna run that. They know all the properties Diddy have. They wasn't even talking about the raid that they did in New York, but they did a raid in New York too.
Being the celebrity kid is no walk in the park, especially with a father like Diddy. It's not just about carrying the family name, but carving out your own identity in a shadow as massive as his. Experts call this narcissistic parenting, where kids are seen as extensions of their parents. Dr. Sher Blake, a psychologist specializing in celebrity families, says this pressure is even greater under the spotlight. Rumors suggest a major clash between Diddy and his son, who reportedly wanted to pursue a path outside the family business. Diddy's response? Allegedly heated arguments and threats to cut off financial support. It's a my way or the highway dilemma, but when the highway is paved with gold, Leaving isn't so simple.
Clear as day, and that's not an automatic. That's not a given. Until we actually hear the audio, there are any number of ways to potentially attack this dialogue that's been portrayed here and that has been alleged to have taken place. The audio might not be clear. There might not be a bulletproof way of identifying who is doing the speaking and exactly what they're saying and so forth. And it gets all back to the question of authentication, where if this is played in court or even before it's played in court, somebody's going to have to identify what was the source of this information, who made the recording, who has kept it between the time it was made and the time it's played in court. How do we authenticate and how do we prove that the person who's alleged to be speaking is actually the person who is speaking? All of these kinds of things all have to be hashed out in court. At the end of the day, though, the jury, presuming, I believe there's a jury demand in this case, it's going to be a jury who sits and says, hey, we believe that these are the actual people that are alleged to be on this recording. We believe that this did actually take place. It's not AI. It's not any other kind of, manipulation. And taken within the totality of all the circumstances and the totality of the evidence, we think it's more likely than not that this actually took place, and therefore we're going to give a win to the plaintiff in this case, this woman who has brought the lawsuit. So it's not an automatic by any stretch of imagination, but if it can be authenticated,
it gets through that vetting. If this is real audio, not a good look for Christian in eyes.
No,
of the jury.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. If it passes the sniff test, then it's potentially very, very problematic. You're absolutely right.
And the rest of this case, we don't have as much evidence. It's going to be a he said, she said. But this type of damning audio, as Kim, you've said it before, in a civil case, right? It's only 51% need to agree. And I would imagine, Kim, your thoughts in reading this transcript now, because we've only seen sort of snippets through NBC, but in reading this transcript now, this is pretty hard to come back from if it's real, right?
Yes, I would agree. I mean, if the question is, was she touched without her consent? And, did she voice that she did not want to be touched in that manner? If this audio is authenticated, it's pretty clear that no, she did not want this interaction. This is SA, period.
Choosing between your father's empire and your own dreams is just the beginning of the struggle. What happens when privilege comes with anxiety, depression, and a relentless spotlight? Growing up with a silver spoon might seem easy, but for celebrity kids, especially in hip-hop, it often feels like living in a golden cage, with paparazzi flashes as the bars. Sure, they have luxury wardrobes and overflowing bank accounts, but the cost? Their mental health. These kids face immense pressure, trying to find their identity while the world watches and critiques, waiting for any misstep. It's like starring in a reality show they never agreed to. For the children of icons like Diddy, the weight is even heavier. They're expected not only to succeed but to outshine their legendary parents. Imagine the challenge of breaking free from such a massive shadow, not just living up to the name but surpassing an entire legacy.
Yeah, I ain't hear about that raid. I only heard about the LA and Miami raid. But you feel like the feds, they released that video over King Combs' comments.
Oh man, I've worked in law enforcement for 27 years, and I had the opportunity to see HIDA. It's a place, whereas they have the state, the feds, the NYPD, the Department of Corrections, and the state police. Yo, this place could be half of a basketball court. That's where they just got lines of computers with officers of all different people and officers just on the internet. Whoever's over that case, whoever's working that case, don't you know they saw that and took it to their boss? You might think it's petty, but it's not. You do not agitate a lion with a pork chop. And that's what that kid did, bro.
Some people feel like, you know, Diddy, he played a part in that video coming out too. You know, him being spotted with Stevie J, smiling at the camera. You know, a lot of people blame him too.
But bro, what did I tell you? He's such a narcissist that he has to be in the public. Yo, listen to me. They just caught him on TMZ today or yesterday or something like that, walking out and about. Now, I'm not telling the man what to do, what he couldn't do. I don't know if the government told he couldn't travel nowhere, he couldn't be nowhere and stuff like that. But why are you gonna go outside your own compound where you know TMZ and every other place is waiting on you? You're not gonna get any public sympathy. That's why he had that picture of him and his father around his neck. You're not gonna get no sympathy. You're done. Stick a fork in it. Call it a quit. Apologize to Big's mother for putting her son in that position that he loses his life. It's crazy. He better do a Russell Simmons.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that, man. They saying that he gonna pull a Russell Simmons.
Well, anything's possible, bro, but I don't know if the feds will allow him since they got an open investigation on him.
The statistics paint a worrying picture. According to the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry, children of celebrities are twice as likely to struggle with anxiety and depression compared to their non-famous peers, and substance abuse is often part of the equation. Fame, it seems, doesn't come without a cost. So how is this affecting Diddy's son? Rumors suggest he's facing serious challenges. Behind the designer shades, sources say his anxiety can feel suffocating and his depression hits harder than Diddy's classic beats from the 90s. Whispers even hint that he's quietly seeking therapy, with rehab being a possible next step. While the full story remains unclear, where there's smoke, there's often a fire. And it seems this one is burning beneath the surface.
Combs' 7 children writing on Instagram, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. A 60-page unverified book published earlier this month claimed to be the collection of diaries of Porter, who died at the age of 47 in 2018. The children, who don't mention their father's arrest in the statement, go on to write, "Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories." The message coming as another accuser goes public with allegations against Combs. Talia Graves claims in a civil lawsuit Combs and his bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed it.
It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
The 54-year-old Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges he led a criminal conspiracy that...
Seek help? The answer could surprise you. We're diving into the golden handcuffs of fame, where breaking free comes with the risk of breaking down. Is Diddy's son preparing for a move that could shake the industry? Trapped in a life that feels like a scripted reality show, he's searching for a way to write his own story. But in a family as powerful as the Combs clan, breaking free is anything but simple. Rumors suggest he's exploring his options, discreet meetings with lawyers, quiet talks with industry leaders, and even considering a solo path outside the family empire. One thing's for sure, Diddy won't let his hair walk away from his empire without a fight.
Gursky joins me now with more on this. Aaron, how significant is it to have a new accuser making claims like this on camera as Diddy's facing these criminal charges?
Well, look, she is detailing in an anguished appearance with her attorney, Gloria Allred, what she said happened to her in 2001 and the lasting impact that she said it had on her, and coming after Sean Combs' arrest on criminal charges perhaps lends some additional credibility because he's already been charged in a racketeering conspiracy that sought out women for abuse.
She's also filed a civil suit. Could that affect the criminal case at all?
The civil suit is at least the 12th filed against Sean Diddy Combs, and the first one from last November by Cassie Ventura is really what touched off the criminal case that led to Diddy's arrest and subsequent not guilty plea on the 3 criminal counts. Without the civil suit, there are probably not criminal charges against Sean Combs, but all the civil cases are now likely to be paused while the criminal case takes priority.
Now, some of Combs' children issued this statement on Instagram, speaking out in defense of their mother, but they didn't really mention their father. What do you make of that?
It was an interesting statement coming a little more than a week after Combs' arrest here in New York. And the children seemed quite protective of Kim Porter's legacy because there's this 60-page unverified manuscript online that claims to be Kim Porter's diary entries or a compilation of some of her thoughts. And the children said that it just isn't true. And they didn't want her and her memory commingled with him and the criminal case that he's now facing.
And what's next in that case now?
He's back in court in early October. For now, he is being housed in protective custody at a federal jail in Brooklyn. He's in a dormitory-style open housing cell with Sam.
Rebelling against your parents is tough, but when your dad has connections everywhere and pockets deeper than the Mariana Trench, it's a whole different game. Think potential lawsuits, being cut off faster than you can say bad boy for life, and the looming threat of blacklisting in the industry. It's a David versus Goliath story, except Goliath has platinum records and a vodka empire.
And it's really sad that, the whole situation of this, as you read through the entire lawsuit and you kind of see the environment that she was placed in and how she was set up in this place where she was probably terrified to say anything. And the end of it all, based on the lawsuit, it does sound like she did lose her job. It impacted her personal life, her relationship, her family life, everything. She lost so much because of this incident, if all of this is to be true. So I really hope that if this all is true, that the audio can be authenticated, because I think it's going to be crucial in her case.
And just for full, so I want to go visit. Audio was recorded by Jones, allegedly. NBC News has heard 2 clips of audio transcribed in the suit, purportedly from the night, but has not verified who was recorded, which is important. As John said, again, we need to vet this. I don't need to go through that sort of legitimizing it, but there allegedly is audio that's claiming to be this. And it's interesting there, as I go back and read that, only 2. They only heard 2, and there are I guess it is 2.
There are the 2.
It's 1 and then the longer one. Okay, got it. So there's only the 2. So they've heard it. This audio apparently exists. I would, Mr. Blackburn, share it more. What's going on? If you're giving it to one press outlet, give it to other press outlets, because if this is real, we need to get the word out. If it's not, why are you sharing it? Or, if it's private, why are you sharing it with certain outlets? I hope they do, so we can definitively figure out, is this real or not? Because I think it's important information to know. So Diddy's lawyer slammed this lawsuit against son, expected the same kind of manufactured lies. Youngest son, Christian, slams, the lawyers behind slammed it. Again, they're going after Tyrone Blackburn. And I want to connect that because the last suit was kind of sloppy at times. Is that going to affect this? Do you think this one plays better because it's got the transcript and board? Or is there a version of this where this could be a shakedown by this Blackburn attorney who has had previous grievances? Does any of that come into play for you, John?
Well, I'm assuming that he's gotten a little bit sharper and a little bit smarter since he filed the case in New York, the Little Rod case. I mean, and that was a little unusual. All of a sudden, he's had to go back several times and file a complaint, then file a First Amendment complaint. First amended complaint, then a second amended complaint, which somewhere along the line there was one or more procedural problems where you typically have to ask the court for leave or permission to file an amended complaint. Apparently that was not done in the way that the court expected it to be done. Most courts have their federal rules of civil procedure, and then there are usually some local rules as well. Somehow he managed to run afoul of those rules in terms of asking the court to file an amended complaint and so forth. And the reason he was filing amended complaints, I mean, for instance, the first, I think it was the first amended complaint, had 72 pages, did not mention Cuba Gooding Jr., as I recall. Second amended complaint that he tried to file was up close to 100 pages, 90 or 100 pages, and all of a sudden it did include Cuba Gooding Jr. And you got to ask yourself, well, you know, how did Cuba Gooding Jr. get left out of the original complaint and the first amended complaint? Or, you know, how did someone that important to the case not get included the first time you went through the exercise? It just is a little bit of a question that, you know, there might be, for all I know, there might be a perfectly legitimate reason, but at the same time, it's a little bit odd.
Yeah,
But
speaking of odd and speaking of Cuba Gooding Jr., again, like here's that portion I found of, according to plaintiff, defendant Combs chartered a yacht, witnessed several A-listers on board, including rappers Redacted, as well as Redacted and Cuba Gooding Jr. And then they go on to talk about how unpleasant he was. And if you go down to the little footnotes, they're like giving little clues and Easter eggs as to who the redacted people are. A Philadelphia rapper, anyway, it's all very strange to me. So there is still a little bit of a messiness to this lawsuit, you would say. It's